उसने मुझे कहा है कि he said you are not good and let me show you that how good I am. Everybody who is born or is on this planet has this skill. Everybody has this skill. It's just that you need to tap in.
That's a strong statement.
When you're very anxious, anxiety is like picking up a lot nowadays. Everybody's talking about anxiety.
How does Reiki help with career? Tell us about that. That could be interesting.
The strength lies within you. It's only within you where that strength is. Don't look for external aspects. Build your own inner strength.
And this is one conversation that you need to watch today, because we are literally peeling the layers of human psychology and going deeper into why you're feeling stressed, why the anxiety, how do you cope up with all the noise in the world, and more importantly, in your head. How do you control that mental chatter, and how do you return back to your core, to your center self? So without wasting much time, let me jump right into the conversation. So Poonam, in the world today, it is a very different world, right? Because AI is coming in, geopolitics is changing very fast, pandemics are happening. You know, in all of this, when I talk to a lot of people, they have a lot of insecurity and almost like a sense of panic. So my question to you is, when things like this happen on a large scale, at a global scale, why do people start feeling panic? What's your thought around that?
I agree with you, because there are so many things happening around with so much fluctuations around in the environment, and with the current situation, there's the first thing that everybody gets into panic. And I would say it's not just now, but since the childhood, people are being almost most of us are trained that way. We are being influenced by the external environment a lot, because in the schools, it's your grade, it is what are your neighbors saying, what are your uncle, auntie, parents, everybody telling you. And we are so much accustomed to just listening to what they want to tell us, and then align ourselves to okay, if they're saying you're good, you're good. If they're saying you're bad, you're bad. If you're doing certain things good, that's how you get. So you look for external validations a lot. And I think that's how most of us have been brought up since the childhood. And we start looking for external validations. Even in your schools, it's your grades that will give you the validation. When you're performing something, then again, there are certain remarks. There are I would say the grades, the percentages that define what you are. And in the current situation as well, when there are so many things happening around, you see that the external validation that we're getting, it says that things are not fine. So what happens is, when you're always looking for an external validation, you create a lot of self-doubt amongst you. So if you are doing certain things confidently as well, but if somebody tells you this is not good, you step back, because you start doubting yourself. And the moment you start doubting yourself, the moment you start feeling that I cannot do things, then the external validation becomes a problem. You can use the external validation to kind of, I would say, more than a validation, it can be more like an input to you.
It's a feedback.
To enhance yourself further. Rather than making the external validation as the key thing. That, okay, if somebody said that you are not good, and you go with that I'm not good, then you put yourself into that self-doubt mode, and then you start moving in that direction. And most of them go with that. You might have somebody who might be rebellious to say इसने मुझे कहा है कि he said you are not good, and let me show you. Let me show you that how good I am. And that may lead to a positive aspect, but that's like a very less number of people who go with that.
Correct.
In my experience, it's been 1 or 2% of people who would go with that.
That's it.
Yeah. The rest of the set of people would be more onto people around me, everybody's saying that you're not good. So probably I'm not good.
So how do you move into that percentage where it is more internal validation and almost an internal sense of, maybe an anchor or whatever you call it, right?
Yeah.
More internal dependency and a belief saying, I'm okay, rather than basing your thing on external validations. How do you start moving towards that side then?
So, see, let me put an analogy. I look at this like that huge tree which has strong roots. When a tree has that strong roots, even if it is kind of raining, heavy storms or anything around, what happens then? At that point of time, the tree is still there because its roots are strong, and your roots are your own internal things. And that's why I want to tell is that even as an individual, when your inner sense is strong, when your internal anchoring is strong, then what people are saying, what things are happening around will not impact you a lot. And for some, it may not impact at all as well. So I would connect with that analogy. You get your roots to that strength, that strong, so that you're not impacted by the external environment. And it is okay to feel the way you are.
Okay, so tell me this. If I'm watching this podcast, give me some pointers where I will realize whether I'm on the intrinsic side more or the extrinsic side more. What are 2-3 checklists that I can think mentally, I need to recalibrate.
Okay.
How do I do that?
So again, based on my experience with myself and with the clients that I have been working, and I think this is a word that most of us would have heard about it a lot as well. When you're very anxious, anxiety is like picking up a lot nowadays. Everybody's talking about anxiety. So anxiety is one of the things which tells that you're more onto the external than onto the internal.
Okay.
When you're more onto the stressful mode, it is more onto the external than the internal part. When you're looking for the validations, when you do something and you need 20 people to approve it, then again you're into that zone of more of the external validations than the inner anchoring. So these are a few things where that anxiety, the stress, your external validations where you need, and every moment you are looking out for something outside. Like you pick up your mobile and then start searching. And I think that's what is happening nowadays.
Right,
People just pick up, they think of something and they're like, hey, let me pick up. Let me go through the internet and see through what is there. So you're looking for a lot of external aspects to figure out what's happening. And that's where I would say that gives that classification of that this is where the external things are versus more of an internal part.
So, okay, let me break this down because you've said something very important, right? So, everybody knows what is the external Google.
Yes.
What is the internal Google? Is there an internal Google?
And I call it as an inner wisdom.
Inner wisdom. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Most of them would also be referring to as their intuition, their inner guidance, their gut feeling.
Okay.
So more connected you are internally, the more symptoms you get in terms of this inner wisdom, inner guidance, your gut feeling, which will tell you that, okay, what you're doing, you're on the right path, irrespective of what people are saying.
Are you born with it, or is that almost a skill which you can develop over time? This connection to the inner wisdom.
Yeah.
Is it like, intelligence, I am intelligent or not? Or is that something that can be refined, can be learned, can be honed in? Is that possible?
Yes. And fantastic for this question. Thank you for asking this, because I think everybody thinks that this is something, again, external thing.
Exactly.
That it has been brought in. But let me tell you, everybody who is born or is on this planet has the skill.
Everybody
has the skill. It's just that you need to tap in.
That's a strong statement.
Yes. Everybody has that skill.
Okay.
Everybody has that inner wisdom. Everybody has that intuition. It's just that you have not tapped into it. You're not able to get in. So I just call it like if you want to listen to Radio Mirchi. So you put on that frequency and you listen to that. Right?
So you have to tune into 98.3.
Yes, you need to tune in. That's right. So that's where you already have that. So that frequency is already there. Just that you want to listen to Radio Mirchi, you'll tune into 98.3.
Yeah, because the radio is already playing.
It's already there.
The waves are there.
Yes. And the same thing. The waves are already there. You're born with that capability. You have that skill. What is needed is for you to start tuning into that frequency.
Nice.
And the moment you start tuning into that frequency, your inner wisdom and things would work out.
Right? How do you use the right frequency or intuition or inner wisdom in my corporate job? Give me a practical example of that. What does it mean?
Okay, so in a corporate job, when we talk about, one of the things where I've seen that people intuitively go or with their gut feeling they go is in the hiring process. when you're hiring somebody,
Okay.
right? You will see everything on the CV and you'll say, like, reading the CV, my gut feeling is like, probably this is not the right person.
You've not met, you've not seen the guy, just looking at the
look
CV.
at the CV because there's a vibration it carries. And then the HR is like, whatever you told, exactly everything
Correct.
is matching.
It's a keyword match.
Yeah,
Perfect.
keyword match. And you're saying it does not at least meet the person. And they're like, it doesn't fit in. Because that's what I sense.
Right.
That's what I feel. That's what my
Correct.
gut feeling is.
Correct.
And then probably they may or may not go. Sometimes it also happens that you get a CV and then you're like, okay, call the person. Let me just talk. The person may not have the skills that you need.
Yes.
But the moment you talk to the person, you feel that I feel that this person is suitable.
Correct.
Even if this person doesn't have the technical skills, I'm okay, I'll train.
Yeah.
But I have
Makes sense.
I have that strong feeling that this person will fit in my team and I can work.
Makes sense.
So that's why we are already attuning to, right? And just forget about the corporate aspects that we're doing. But also when you're talking to 10 different people. So if you go in a room with 10 different people, you might talk to a few and the rest you might not. Why would you do that? Tell me. Why would you do that? That you go in a room, you just...
It doesn't feel right.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
You might have not spoken. Everybody like, you have not spoken and you're saying you don't feel right. What's wrong?
वो vibe नहीं आ
वो
रही.
vibe नहीं आ रही है.
Correct.
That's where the
That's the
frequency
intuition.
match, that's the intuitive vibrations. Now, it doesn't mean that this is right or wrong. It's just that because I am moving at a particular frequency, there might be somebody who is higher at a higher frequency or at a lower frequency. And there might be somebody who is at the same frequency. So I might, because I am at a particular frequency, it may or may not match with everybody in the room.
Correct.
I might go to person where it matches, or I may go to somebody where I feel that I want to be at that frequency. So if you're in a room and if there is a group of people who are very sad and there is a group of people who are happy, where would you want to go?
Happy.
Right? So you're going there. Why not here? Because that will not match with your
don't
vibes
want to
and frequency. You
feel
don't want to feel
depressed.
depressed or
Correct.
you don't want to feel sad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where your intuition is already there. You don't know the person.
Correct,
You
correct.
don't know anything. They're just sitting there. But just because looking at them, you feel that they're probably sad. I don't want to be here. These people are happy. Let me go there.
Okay, so I want to double tap on this frequency thing that you spoke about because
Right.
I read on this quite a lot, right? So I'm assuming the higher your frequency, the more your intuitions and the more in tune you get. Is that correct?
In general terms, yes, that's how people use it. But
Okay.
then there is a range which has been defined. And within that range, when you are there, that helps you.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is scientific.
Yes, it is scientific.
Does it tie into human resonance and those kind of things? Or
Somewhat,
is that
yes.
different?
Somewhat it does.
Okay.
It does.
Can you give a little bit science on this also? So that it's not like foo-foo and woo-woo.
It is definitely not. As I say, the common example that I always give is about this radio frequencies.
Right.
When you want to watch a particular channel and other things, you go into. If you want to watch Star Plus, you know that this is the number that I have to go.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You won't go to any other number. If you want to watch, now for example, there are a lot of OTTs. So if you have to watch that, you have to tune in, you have to go and click and go with that aspect. So all that is happening around is now being referred to a lot in terms of the quantum physics.
Yes, correct.
Where we are studying these frequencies, these vibrations of what people are emitting around. And it is also a lot more related to your, the frequency aspect is also related a lot with what's happening in your brain. It's also related with your neurons. What is that you're emitting with your thoughts around? So many times it is like, we say that you don't have to say anything. Just looking at you, I can read your mind.
Correct.
How does that happen? Because that's an emitting of
I
the
can tune in.
frequency and you can tune into that. So that's the part of the things when we talk about scientific aspects, it's more related with the quantum physics and there's a lot of deeper studies which is happening right now. Still a lot of things are unknown because that's the research, scientific aspects have been done at that thing, but quantum physics field is working on those aspects right now.
So you said this is also very related to your thoughts and what you think and how you feel.
Yes.
Then are there certain practices I can do on my own or learn from somebody which can help me have the right thoughts and move in the right vibrations, more attract more things, Can I do something on my own? How do I learn this thing?
You can. As I said, everything as a thought which is there within you, I know as human beings, we have classified them as right or wrong.
Correct.
But that right or wrong is in the perspective of that individual or that group of people.
Situation. True.
Or that particular situation, as you have rightly said. So the way I would want each one of them to look at is that connect it with your feelings. If you're feeling happy, if you're feeling good about it, which means whatever thoughts you're thinking about is the right one. If it's right for you.
Yeah.
That's very important. Like, I'm thinking this, I'm feeling good, but somebody here is scolding me. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Right? So right now, I just want to focus you as an individual of what you are thinking about. If you're feeling sad, not so happy, probably what you're thinking is not helping you. So that's the first thing which I want people to be aware of, because only when you become aware is where you get to the second levels of learning on how to balance and manage your energies and your frequencies and your thoughts. If you do not have that awareness, whatever tools you learn, it will just be mechanical. And even if they're mechanical, probably you might not get as much as results you want. It might just be 10-20%. So yes, there are techniques, there are tools and techniques. So there are techniques in which you can learn about energy healings, like the Reiki, like crystals, like pyramids, which will help you to tune into your energies and your thoughts. There are neuro-linguistic programming techniques that you can do where you can
NLP
work.
Techniques.
Yes, NLP techniques where you can work towards reframing your mindset, tapping into your subconscious. Then there are emotional freedom techniques that can be utilized where tapping into certain parts of your body can help you work on this. So there are these structured ways.
Tapping as in physical tapping?
Yes, physical tapping.
Okay.
So that's where you tap into physical aspects of your body, and then that helps you to kind of give it to your brain a message saying that now you have to shift your thoughts. So the first is awareness, and there are multiple techniques you can pick up to learn it and then move forward.
So you've done a lot of work in NLP area, right? You're certified.
Yes.
And you teach people NLP as well?
So I don't teach people NLP, but
But you use that in your sessions.
Yes, I use NLP in my coaching sessions and my healing sessions with people.
So to somebody who's never heard of NLP, how would you define that? What is NLP and how can it help?
So NLP, now we have to be very careful because NLP is the neuro-linguistic programming that I'm talking about, not the AI world or the other part of the natural language processing. So we are referring here to the neuro-linguistic programming, and in simple words, if I say it is the manual of your brain, how your brain works, how your mind works, and why it works. So somebody is reacting in a particular way. Why are they reacting in that way? What is going on? What's happening? It will help you to understand. Not only others, but also for you.
Yourself also.
Yes. If I'm reacting in a particular way, why is it? So what is happening? So it's more like a manual of your brain, of your mind, how it works, why it works. And when you know how it works and why it works that way, you get into more deeper insights, which can help you transform yourself in a better version than what you're looking for.
And that is a coaching that you also conduct, right?
Yes.
Does it come under a life coach area or is that different?
So I call myself as an alchemist coach.
Alchemist coach, okay.
Yes. So when I talk about alchemist, it's all about helping you transform your life from where you are to where you want to go.
Okay.
The word comes from that concept of alchemy.
Alchemy.
Yes, where it says that the moment you're touched by the stone, you turn into gold.
Correct.
So it's the same thing. So the moment I come and help you, your hidden talents are unleashed and you are turned into a person who is gold, getting transformed, and you bring into the values as much as you can.
So you've spoken about a lot of techniques, right? Can you give me some examples from your own life where these things have helped you in your personal life? How did all of this start with you? So
it all started with me when I was in I just completed my 10th and 12th standard. So it was around 1995.
Okay.
That is where it started off. It was the summer vacation. And then I was all every summer vacation, I was into that thought of picking up something and learning something new. And during that summer vacation, my mom's friend, she came and she said, you know what, we have Reiki classes coming in. And I was like, what is Reiki?
What is Reiki?
It was something new and not heard of a lot. What is Reiki? Now, when I'm talking about Reiki, here is more of an energy healing technique, the universal technique, because there is a subtle difference between Reiki and Reiki, where you're just analyzing the place to find out
Reiki,
something.
yeah.
That's a very different, because a lot of people get confused.
Sounds similar.
Yeah, it sounds similar and people get confused with that. So when I'm talking about Reiki, it's more about the energy healing, your own energy, your own aura of how it works.
So you can heal yourself as well.
Yes. And that's where that got more curiosity generated. Like, how can this happen without any other tools? Just with your hands or with your mind, you can heal yourself from any physical, mental, emotional things that you're going through. That generated that curiosity, and that's where I got into the healing, learning the healing modality.
Okay.
And when I learned it, of course, learned it for the first time, so I needed guinea pig. So everybody at home was a guinea pig.
Of course.
My grandparents, my parents, my brother, sister, friends, they started feeling a lot of difference. And more than them, I started feeling a lot of difference in my health, in my emotional part of the things, balancing my emotions, the anger, irritations. And since then, I've never left it. I've always felt a lot of positive shift within me. Also in the people that I've healed, helped them. And then it was in 2000 is where I started teaching then. Because then I was like, okay, I have good enough for 5 years of my own experience of learning, experimenting, and just validating that, yes, using your own energy, it works. And it can work for your health, it can work for your wealth, it can work for your career, your business, relationships.
So, how does Reiki help with career? Tell us about that. That could be interesting.
Yes. So when, career, everything around us is an energy. So when you're into a career, like you're working, you're in a job, or whether it's your business, it's a form of energy.
Correct.
And you're talking to people, it's a form of energy. The work that you're doing is a form of energy. So everything around us is energy. And when we talk about Reiki, Reiki is what, if you divide it into two, Re is the universe and Ki is the energy, which means it's all about the universal energies. And when we talk about the universal energies, at the topmost, the universal energies are always working for the highest good of everyone.
Highest good of everyone.
Yes, that's very important.
Which might not be necessarily what I want for myself.
Yes, if it is not for the highest good of you or for the people around,
correct,
then you will be directed and guided to move to the highest version. And that's very important aspect. Now, why I wanted to tell a little bit about this is because when we're talking about career, it's a form of energy, and when you work with Reiki, it's a universal energies.
Correct.
And within our body, there are 7 energy centers, or there are certain 7 points which are also referred as energy centers or chakras, which connect with your career. Now, when you start balancing this part, you will start seeing a lot of shifts happening within your career. And as I said, career is like job, or whether you're into business, or whether you're into entrepreneur, aspects of those things. So that will help you to shift. So the moment you start working on those energy points, on those points within your body, physically, mentally, and emotionally, you start working on releasing. First is the awareness that happens. Second is that you start releasing the blockages, which are stopping you to succeed.
Blockages in the energy centers,
yes. Blockages in the energy centers related to your career in this case will start getting released. And once that start getting released, then you're directed and guided to work towards what is the better version of your career or business. And I have seen in my own practical experiences where people have chosen a particular career and they were like, okay, I'm doing it, I'll do it, I'll continue with it. But then they're not so happy, they're not satisfied, things are not progressing. When we started working on their awareness, the cleansing and clarity of their energies, they got the realization of what is a better career for them. And they've moved it.
Oh, they moved the switch.
They made a switch to move into that career. And if it is the right career that you're into, then you get more insights and awareness how you can become more better into that aspect.
Wow, this is very fascinating, because this is a question that I'm getting quite a lot these days. That, hey, will AI take away my job? You know, I am a programmer. Now AI doesn't need programmers. Should I change my field? Should I do something different? Right? And to me, the answer is never a technical answer. Theoretically, you can learn stuff technically.
That's true.
Right? But it is going within and asking that question, what is right, what makes sense,
yes,
and what frequency you operate at. The answer has to come from here.
Yes.
And like
agree.
you said earlier, they're looking for the answer there.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
You have an answer within you. The external things might give you certain inputs, but you know deep within your heart what is it you're looking for. But you're now covered with all this cloud,
Correct.
gray things. It's not kind of helping you to move. And that's what exactly we do as a part of our energy healing, cleansing and coaching sessions. So it's not just
What do you mean by cleansing? You'll have to define that a little bit.
Yeah, so when we say cleansing...
What spray is it you're using?
Yes, we don't use a magic spray out here. But when we talk about the cleansing part, it is all about, as we were talking about, the thoughts and the energies around. So we need work with the individuals to understand what kind of a thought patterns they are going in, what kind of energies they are carrying within.
Okay.
Are those energies which are blocking them? And it has also been sometimes referred to as your inner voice or that inner guidance.
Inner dialogue.
Yes, the inner dialogue. That's absolutely right.
So if I dumb it down even more, right? So somebody can think, hey, mere se to kuch hota nahi, my
Yes.
career is not going anywhere, you
Right,
know.
and that's exactly the inner
I'm
dialogue.
touching 40, I've not even made a house, you know, or I have a house and I have a huge loan.
Yes.
Is that the dialogue you're talking about?
That's absolutely right. That's the dialogue I'm talking about, because that's something which when you're sitting alone, you're talking to yourself a lot. Sometimes people may not be talking about it when they're alone, but when somebody's there and they might just be
Yeah, it's a
talking about
constant
it.
chatter
It's a
in the brain.
constant chatter. And that's the inner dialogue that I'm referring to. So we
And
both
that you have to change.
yes. And that's
Consciously.
yes. And when you start doing it consciously, then it becomes a part of your subconscious and part of the things. And that's where exactly when we talk about the cleansing process, it's about working with you at that inner levels to work on these aspects. So
And that's something you can learn and fix yourself with the right guidance.
Yes, that can definitely be
Perfect. So let me ask you this. For somebody who's watching this podcast, right? And they say, oh, this makes sense. Oh, that's a great point. I want to do this thing. I want to learn this thing, right? And you've spoken so many things, right? And if I have no clue what you're talking about, but I've picked up Reiki, I've picked up pranic healing, I've picked up self-talk, I've picked up these keywords.
Right.
What do I do now? It's interesting. It makes sense. I want to try it out. I want to experience things and I want to see if it works for me.
Right.
Right? Where do I start? What do I do?
So people who are listening to it, they can find the right trainer where they can really go ahead and get this experienced. Now, in case if you are interested, I hold a lot of live sessions on YouTube every week. So people can just tune into my YouTube channel and listen to those sessions, be live with me, ask me anytime what the concerns or questions should be, and I can guide you on that.
And it's a Q&A kind of a format.
Yes. So one format is where I do a Q&A.
Okay.
The second format is where I give you an experience of an actual healing and a coaching live.
Okay.
So then people can listen, understand, and if they feel comfortable and they're good, then they can choose the right trainer for them and go ahead and learn it. That can always be there.
And you also conduct trainings,
Yes,
and
I
you
do
also
conduct trainings.
do one-on-one with people, and you coach them as well, right?
I do that as well.
Perfect. So I'll put all your social media links in the comments. So whoever's interested, they can go look, they can attend your classes.
Yes.
They can get in touch with you.
Yeah, that can always be done.
Perfect. So what's your message to somebody, let's say 3 categories of people, right? Somebody who's in college, confuse the heck out of their lives, right? Because abhi 1 saal mein main pass out hone wala hu, I don't know what to learn, I don't know whether I'll get a job.
Right.
And all of that is going on in their mind. That's first persona. Second persona is maybe somebody who's 5, 6, 7, less than 10 years experience, let's say, right? And they've done well in their career so far, but now they are looking to extrapolate their career, right? They are looking to fly in the next 5, 7 years, right? And then the third category, who's probably about 15 odd years experience, they've got a solid foundation, but now they're thinking, what now?
Right.
Because they're at maybe a plateau, or they want to pivot, or they're confused. So underlying, if you see, all 3 personas are confused.
Right.
Their confusions are different. Their stages of life are different, but there is a common connection.
Yes.
What would you say to them?
So one message that I want to pass for everybody, irrespective of the age group that they are in, that is that your external situations don't define you.
Your external situations don't define you.
Yes.
Okay.
Within you is that strength which can help you overcome any life's challenges.
No matter what it is, no matter where you are.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the key message.
And that's what you have to build.
Yes. That's the key thing that you have to build. And when you work on your own inner strength and your inner anchoring, irrespective of the situation that you're in, irrespective of what is happening around,
Correct.
you will always come out successful. So
because shit will happen.
Yeah.
It'll keep happening.
It will always happen, and the world is changing so drastically. Every second, every moment, everything is changing.
Correct.
So if you're not able to anchor yourself with that inner strength, you'll always fall prey to the external.
So the answer is not another, course out there. Answer is not in technology. The answer is not in another certification.
Right.
The answer is not there. Those are part of the answers, but the real deeper answer is somewhere here.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And we have to find it for ourselves.
Yes. And the moment you start connecting with that path, you will start finding your way around.
What do you mean?
Okay, now
expand that a little bit.
Yeah. So, a lot of people say, do we have to do a meditation and all? And the reason why I'm bringing this is because that's where when we are talking about
that was my next question.
Okay, so I picked that. So I'm already catching on your vibes.
You're there. You're already there. Yeah.
So when people are talking about building that inner strength or the inner wisdom, a lot of them go with, I have to do a meditation. I have to sit.
And is 15 minutes enough for me?
Yeah, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Correct.
So let me tell you, when we talk about even meditation is what that you're focused on something. Nothing external is bothering you. Now, in that case, a lot of them tell you to have some mantra chanting, some breathing techniques, or there might be XYZ different techniques of what we are talking about.
Right.
I would just say you can just sit for even a minute in silence.
Okay.
And even if you sit for a minute in silence, I know silence is very uncomfortable for many of them to sit. They're like, sitting in silence, why am I sitting like this?
Music to de do,
kuch to do. And maybe people around will only ask you, what happened? You're sitting in silence.
Correct.
Something went wrong. That's the first question that I will ask. But I will tell you, even if you sit for a minute in silence, and that will be the kickstart for you to connect with your own self. Because you're sitting in silence, you're just observing yourself. No thoughts, no judgment, nothing. So when you observe yourself also, there should be no thoughts and no judgment.
That's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but you can, and you don't need any tool for this.
Correct.
Anytime, anywhere, you can just do it. If you're standing in a bus stop or you're traveling in the bus. Of course, when you're driving, you can be conscious, but that needs a lot of practice. But if you're there, you just observe what's happening within you.
So observe like a third person.
Yes, observe like a third person, observe what is happening within you. And that in itself will start giving the directions of where you want to go. So whether you want to go in a technology, you want to go in a non-technology, or you want to just sit and relax. That can also be an answer. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit and relax. But then I know then that little voice will come in. If you're sitting and relaxing just like this, I don't know what people will think of you.
Correct. And time waste kar rahe ho.
Time waste kar rahe ho. Kuch kaam hi nahi hai. Kuch karte hi nahi hai. That's a separate part. But then when you are able to get into this, I think that's where I said that when you're able to tap into your own inner path with this silence, you will get a direction of where you want to go.
Perfect. So, Poonam, one last question.
Yeah.
If there's one message you want people to remember from this podcast, what is it?
And I'll repeat this again. The strength lies within you. It's only within you where that strength is. Don't look for external aspects. Build your own inner strength. The external things will come to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.